I took 3 pregnancy tests and still didn't believe I was pregnant. I was in denial and shock. I was 16 at the time, living at home with my 3 brothers, sister, parents. I wasn't living with the father of the baby.
I was terrified at the possibility of being pregnant. I knew that it was possible, and I was terrified. So I didn't think about it. I thought, well, I'll find out later if I am, and I'll face it then. So we actually went on a family holiday to Africa, and while we were there, I got very sick with morning sickness, and so my mum pulled me aside and she said, "Has anything happened that could have caused you to become pregnant?" And so I said, "Yeah, something has happened that may have caused me to be pregnant."
I was 17 when I found out I was pregnant, and I was way too scared to tell my parents. I was freaking out, and I knew that they would just be mortified that they didn't know I had a boyfriend, let alone having sex or anything like that. So it was kind of one of those things we never really talked about. And I got to about 3 months pregnant and I thought that I'd had a miscarriage, and from then on out I was just in complete denial. I didn't go to the doctors or anything because I was too scared that my parents would find out if I did. And so I kind of just started going on with my normal life and didn't think about abortion or anything like that because I was too much in denial. I was like, no, I've had a miscarriage, I don't need to. And I got to about 7.5 months pregnant and I was huge, and I thought that I better go to the doctors and get checked out, and the doctor then confirmed I was 7.5 months pregnant, and I kind of didn't really know what to do at all. And I went home and I was having a big argument with my boyfriend, and my mum came in and said, "Well, what are you guys arguing about?" And she said, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was absolutely furious, didn't know what to do.
Well, my first initial thought was to have an abortion, just get rid of whatever was happening to me, wouldn't need to tell anybody. I didn't know though whether abortion was right or wrong. I didn't know what it involved. Didn't realise that there was a little baby inside of me.
When I saw the scan, I knew, I was like, I can do this, I can totally carry this child. And the thought of having a termination was just not even there anymore. And I don't know, I think it was just so powerful to see what was happening inside me and how this baby was growing. She was probably about that big, and she was just vibrating because apparently it's because her heart was beating so fast to pump the blood around her body. And it just kind of spoke to my heart that this is an amazing thing that's happening, and it's totally something that I can do. So I made the decision then to carry her, but I had no idea what the future would hold.
Keeping the baby wouldn't have really been an option, as I wasn't living with the father, and it wouldn't have been right having the baby at the house with our family. So adoption seemed the best choice for me.
And my mum said there's something called open adoption now, which means that you can actually have a relationship and have contact with your child. You don't just have to cut them off and say goodbye forever. So I thought, okay, I can totally look into this.
The support I had was, I suppose, a bit different. I didn't have a lot of support from my parents, and that was the main reason that I was choosing to place the baby, was because I knew that in keeping my child I would not have a lot of family support at all.
My mum was a really good support. She wanted my pregnancy to be memorable and not just brush it under the carpet because I was adopting my baby out. She took me out for coffees every morning and night. We had a lot of favourite coffee spots. She helped me move to a school where I could finish my English and maths in 7th form. She supported me with my work, and near the end of my pregnancy she organised a pamper party for me so that we could just celebrate that I was pregnant and having a baby.
The support I had a lot of support from SIFS itself. I had a really wonderful social worker who helped me through a lot, going above and beyond what she needed to do, which was really nice. And I'd considered whether I place him in foster care or whether I keep him myself until the time was right to be placing him with his parents. And I chose to keep him with me and look after him, and I went to a place called Bethany up in Auckland, and I found a lot of support there from other people, other young people that were going through similar situations.
I also saw someone at Pregnancy Counselling Services. She didn't know me or my family, so I knew I wasn't going to be judged, and she just listened again to anything I had to say. Overall, I think all my family and friends were great support. They were there when I needed them.
I knew my parents were very pro-adoption, so they supported me through the whole adoption process. And we actually called a family meeting. So we actually got family down from up north and from all around Canterbury area, and we had a big meeting at my house, and we said, this is what's happened, and we're possibly considering an adoption, and how does everyone feel about that? Because this child wasn't just mine, it belonged to a whole family, and I really, and my parents too, really wanted to make sure that the whole family understood that this is your niece, your granddaughter, your cousin, and how do you feel about her being raised in another family, and possibly not as much contact as you would have if I had raised her. So that was really important to me, is getting the whole family around and explaining to them what was happening, and hearing that they would support me, and that if they could have contact with her, they'd be really happy with that, but you know, that they would support me in the decision I wanted to make.